And then I have one other piece of content that dives into a story that just buckle up. We're about to talk about a lot of random things here for a couple minutes.
Okay,
if
kick
that's
it off.
Cool with you.
Yeah.
Piece of content that is not ours that I consumed recently that I really liked. Reply All, we've talked about it a million times on this podcast. I think both of our favorite podcasts. They've been kind of on a hiatus for a little bit, but they came back. They had 2 really good Super Tech Support episodes, which is generally the hosts of the show trying to figure out weird little tech mishaps that callers have.
With weird hidden solutions.
Very weird.
It's a fun format. I like it.
But one of the newest ones, episode 183, we'll post in the show notes. Without spoiling it, essentially the host, Emmanuel, has a caller come in who's Spotify Wrapped, has an artist that she's never heard of before. It's second on her list, and it's just this like totally underground, no one knows artist, and it's very strange why it's up there. But the reason I connected so much with it is because it talked a lot about how people game Spotify, because Spotify is a way to make money. It is a way to get like acknowledgement as an artist or a producer or something like that. And through this episode, the main culprit of the whole thing does a lot of different things to game Spotify, and it's really, really interesting.
Game Spotify. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I always find social media kind of like gaming or hacking or whatever you want to call it really interesting. I think for the most part, it never works out how you really want it to.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find looking at different ways to manipulate like Instagram or Twitter or YouTube really interesting. And for some reason, Spotify's never like been a platform to me that I thought a lot of people would game, because I'm not in the music world that much, but it totally is. And I've made this connection now to something that I've complained about on Twitter a bunch, and then to also something that I've noticed recently, and all of them kind of connected together. So I'm going to do a small story time here that's probably just going to make me look like the Charlie Day Sunny in Philadelphia meme of like connecting all the red dots red strings. So at the office, you have a Spotify playlist, right? The MKBHD one.
I do.
And it is just basically all the songs that we put in videos.
That exactly is what it is. I just, anytime there's a new song that we use in an intro or in a video and it is available on Spotify, I just drag that into the playlist. It's probably about 40 songs.
And you and I, since I handle the public email address, you handle your email address, get a lot of emails begging to be put on that playlist, right?
Yep. I get a lot of people emailing me specifically saying, hey, I'm an artist. I've made these songs. Here's the MP3s. They're not just saying, hey, feel free to use them if you want. They're saying, hey, please use this song and give it credit. And here's the link.
Well, and also, can you put it on your playlist?
And put it in the Spotify playlist.
Which, like, to me, always thought it was more along the lines of, I want these songs in your videos, like you said. But I'm thinking it's more they're gunning more for the playlist. And that's something that happened in this episode, and something that I discovered a few months ago, where I was climbing. I was trying to think of some music I wanted to listen to. I had an old playlist I had saved, which was just the Tony Hawk Pro Skater playlist, which is like,
that's a game.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that know the game. It's known for having like a phenomenal soundtrack, like very early 2000s pop punk.
Ooh, we should
like
rank
rock
video
and roll
game soundtracks. There's some really good ones.
We would get destroyed because we don't play some of the good
I don't play
video
enough
games,
but I'm a huge fan of some of the Need for Speed and NBA 2K soundtracks. But okay, great.
Fair.
So Tony Hawk
is very well known as like indie grunge metal, like all that kind of fun stuff. There's a lot of rap also. And I was listening to it, and I've listened to it a bunch of times before, and it starts off with the very, you're not going to know these songs, but if you play Tony Hawk, you'll understand. Superman, number one. Superman, My Goldfinger is like the most popular song from Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Easy. Euro Barrage, like the very common ones. I think it got about 5 songs in. Then I noticed as I was listening to it, I didn't recognize a song. Whatever. Get to the next one. Didn't recognize a song. So I started having this like weird, what's going on with this playlist? Were these just, there's like 20 Tony Hawk games. Maybe it was from later ones and I just didn't notice, but it was just song after song that I didn't know, that I didn't know, that I didn't know. And eventually looking at the soundtrack, I I realized it's not an official or playlist. Sorry, it's not an official playlist. It's a user-made playlist that got really popular because of how popular the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack is. And it just had, I think I counted it. I went back and counted it today. Between the songs that are actually on the playlist, because it goes in order from Tony Hawk 1, there are 50 songs that are not actually on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It goes 1 through 5 on the soundtrack to get you into it, and then it's 50 songs that are not on it, and then goes back into the actual soundtrack.
Oh, really? Okay, so that's what you mean by gaming Spotify.
So I think this was a super popular playlist that started getting contact and getting paid to put smaller level production companies or smaller level artists songs onto the soundtrack just to kind of like essentially trick people into listening to it.
Yep.
I'm sure their reasoning for it was like, oh, well, it's just in there and maybe you'll listen to it, maybe you'll like it, and then people will start playing it. But I think it's just to artificially game the numbers and to look better. And I don't know how Spotify AdSense or whatever works or payments, but it clearly feels like that. And now these playlist owners are taking full advantage of it.
Right. That is so interesting. Okay, so I'm trying to think of how this would go on YouTube, because YouTube's algorithms are so advanced that if you were to shove in a random video in a playlist from a show, and you got episode 1, 2, and 3, and then a random video that paid to be there, and then episode 4, everyone would skip that video so fast, and they would all hate that it's there. And they would all like dislike the video.
But you'd get dislikes don't matter now.
Yeah, they don't matter now. But you would get the clicks, and you would theoretically get maybe a pre-roll ad revenue, something like that, if somebody left autoplay on and didn't realize what was happening for 30 seconds. But it wouldn't.
You would get the view count though.
Theoretically. I don't know exactly how a view is counted. Nobody does, but you would probably get more views from being in that popular playlist. But that sort of reputation risk for the person who made the playlist is pretty solid. Where on Spotify, if I just want to find like a video game soundtrack, I'm sure I've done this before in like random albums or something where I'm searching on Spotify. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I search something, I find someone made a playlist and it's close enough, so I just click it. And it has all the songs that I wanted. I get very happy about that. But then if it's not what I wanted, I just ignore it, and I never think about disliking it or leaving a comment about how it's the wrong song or something like that. So it's different from YouTube, but it is fascinating when people just do that.
So I also wonder if potentially these are PR or marketing agencies that are telling small production companies or artists like, hey, we can increase your listen count. And then this is the kind of shady way that they're increasing that. And then all the artist sees is artificial numbers that they don't know how that's happening.
Yeah. So if I was trying to do this smartly, I would at least try to get this random underground song into a playlist of similar sounding music.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
So if you got the Tony Hawk Pro Skater music, I would want something in that same genre.
For sure.
So if somebody's listening and they realize they got to the end of the first game and there's a new song, it's like, oh, maybe it's just going on radio or something.
Yeah.
And it's still enjoyable, maybe.
I think that
would work.
I also would you don't bunch all of them up together. You play 4 songs from the playlist that people know and like throw one in and then go straight back to the playlist and then throw another in. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of these playlist creators probably made them for fun to start and then got a bunch of offers and are like, I'm just going to cash out and get as much money as I can right now. And
ruin a perfectly good playlist.
Ruin a good playlist. If anyone knows a different Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 through 4 playlist, please link me that actually has it, because it is phenomenal and I'd like to listen to it more often.
Yeah. I guess there's like maybe 2 types of Spotify playlists that I search for. One is an unofficial themed playlist, and the other is like an official, like that has some sort of a requirement to be in the playlist. Like if I search for like the best of the Daft Punk hits, I do not want to hear a non-Daft Punk song. I better not hear a random song in my Daft Punk listening experience as I go through the top 30 songs they've ever made. So if it's a random like best of the 90s playlist, then I could see any random song with that vibe being in there, even if it's not from the 90s. You know what I mean? So there's leniency for certain playlists to do it. The one you found seems like it shouldn't have done that. It should just stick to the theme. But like you said, if you're the uploader or the creator of that playlist, what do you have to lose? Just toss it in.
It doesn't matter to you. Yeah, you can make it again. It's a shame. But I don't know. I hope that story didn't go on too long. I thought it was really fascinating.
For the record, I will never put songs in the MKBHD playlist that I don't actually use in a video.
I would love if everybody's sending us those emails who are listening right now, because I'm really tired of deleting like 5 emails a day asking to be put onto the playlist.
Flip it. Set it as an email signature. Email signature.
All right. Thanks for taking that journey with me. I hope it was interesting. I thought it was kind of fascinating, and it feels like I finally have an answer to it.
All right. Thanks for watching this clip. I think while we're here, we should just end by pitching new product ideas for Dyson to put motors in.
Motors and filters. I guess it doesn't need a filter, but they seem to do those pretty well.
They do a great vacuum. I was actually personally hoping they would do a camera, because cameras that are high-end need fans, and so they should build an entire camera because they make them
cooled fan. I mean, the R6 could use that, right?
Yeah, the Dyson R7.
I would definitely an air purified shoe, because my feet smell terrible. If I'm being honest.
And it creates like a little pressurized cocoon of air around your foot.
Yeah, and filters out all the odor.
But also then you step in mud and it just blows mud on people everywhere. That's perfect.
That sounds sick too, if I'm being honest.
I'm waiting for the Dyson shoes.
Yeah, give us some good Dyson inventions in the comments. After you can only comment if you hit the subscribe button though, and the like button.
Then drop it.